All hell really did just break loose between Marjorie Taylor Greene and Democrat Dan Goldman. I have not seen, this was absolutely intense. All she wanted to do was submit real details into the record about Kilmaro Abrego Garcia. We've been talking about him for about a month now. This is the man that Democrats are defending, the illegal immigrant man who is tied to MS-13, who is on record for being a domestic abuser. Yes, they are defending him just until the end, and it is insane. So let's get right into it. My name is Clayton Kearns from TrendingPolitics.com. Please, before we continue, make sure to like this video. It just takes 1 second. And subscribe to the channel. Subscriptions on channels help us out immensely. You have no idea. It helps with our movement. It helps with our website content, and it helps get everything out there into the world of politics, because we seem to be the only ones who have common sense anymore. So let's get into it. So this was today, and all Marjorie Taylor Greene was trying to do is submit evidence into the record from the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, to show why Kilmaro Abrego Garcia, the proof that he has ties to these gangs. And Dan Goldman, once again, claiming that this is all about due process. And well, if he is proven to be a gang member, then, he should be deported. But until then, we can't assume anything. Well, I think enough has been on the record to prove that he is. So let's watch this video together and just take note at just how passionate Dan Goldman is to stand up for this man. They could be talking about anything else in this hearing, but they are talking about bringing this man back with American resources. And by the way, nobody even knows what they would do with him once he's here, because he has no right to be here. He has no legal standing to be here in the first place. Let's watch this video and then I'll recap on the other side.
People are hurt on your watch.
Gentleman's time has expired. I now recognize...
Mr. Chairman. I ask unanimous consent to enter for the record. One of our colleagues had asked if there was evidence if the so-called Maryland man Kilmaro Abrego Garcia was MS-13. According to the Attorney General of the United States, she posted that the evidence shows Kilmaro Abrego Garcia has repeatedly been identified as a member of MS-13 by a Maryland County Police Gang unit, which I introduced for the record, a reliable confidential informant, ICE officers, an immigration judge agreed, and an appellate board agreed.
Without
so you have, is that a court order? Well, I object.
No, she can put anything she wants in the record. She's not complying to your request, Mr. Goldman.
She asked for unanimous consent.
Okay, so you're objecting to her putting that into the record?
I am objecting subject to a clarification. Is that a court order that establishes that he's a member of MS-13?
An immigration judge agreed that he was MS-13.
For bail purposes.
An appellate board agreed.
Don't misrepresent.
Hold on.
A judge.
Everybody pause. We're going to let one person talk at a time. You ask a question. Answer the question, please.
According to the Attorney General of the United States, she informed the country that an immigration judge agreed that your Maryland man, Kilmaro Abrego Garcia, is MS-13. An appellate board agreed. ICE officers
you are misstating
agreed.
what
A reliable
Mr. Goldman,
informant.
the clock is not yours right now. She has the floor. Please continue answering the question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A Maryland County
She's not answering the question, sir.
No, she's going to answer the question, and then you can object to her answer.
Can you make sure that she answers the question?
Finish answer. You just said, please finish your answer.
A Maryland County Police Gang unit agreed that he's MS-13. A reliable confidential informant agreed that he's MS-13. ICE officers agreed that he's MS-13. An immigration judge agreed that he's MS-13. An appellate board agreed that Kilmaro Abrego Garcia, your Maryland man, is MS-13.
Okay.
I object.
Have the floor. What do you want to say?
I object because she is misstating the record and the facts. That is not accurate, and therefore I object to that being introduced. There's
Mr.
Sir,
Chairman?
can I explain? You let her go on.
Go ahead.
There is no final court order establishing that he's a member. Maybe he is. So you should put all that evidence before a judge, and if he is MS-13, he should be deported. That's what we're talking about, but you're misstating what all of that evidence is.
No, I think I'm going to make a point here. You basically just read what the Attorney General said, correct?
Yes, sir.
You didn't assert that this was a court order, did you? Did you assert that this was a court order?
I read the Attorney General of the United States.
And you have a right on our committee to submit for unanimous consent or a vote if we want to put it to a vote. This for the record, correct? Is that it?
Yes.
That is correct. Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
she has a right.
Can I review what she is submitting?
No, she can submit something to this committee.
But it matters that she just said she represented exactly what the Attorney General said. She has a document there. I would like to see that document.
Let's make a copy for
see if her
everybody,
representation-
and we'll vote on. I'm going to hold on just a second. We're going to hold.
Mr. Higgins, I'm just asking to see the document.
I have the floor. All right. So we have a motion to vote on the submission of this for the record. That's all that has been stated. And
I have a parliamentary inquiry, sir.
Do not interrupt me again. We are on the vote on whether or not this can be entered into the record. A motion has been made, and we will vote on that motion. All of those in
I
favor.
have a parliamentary inquiry before we vote, sir.
Mr. Ranking Member.
It's our request that we object. And in the middle of the objection, you consider a motion, which...
He was done talking about Ms.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. You stopped him from talking.
I just have a parliamentary inquiry.
A parliamentary inquiry. Okay, go ahead. You have the floor.
Is it the procedure of this committee that someone who is making an objection to the admission of evidence cannot review that evidence before we vote on it?
Yeah, the content is irrelevant to the motion, and the motion has been made to vote on the submission for the record.
The content is irrelevant? I mean, that's what I'm objecting to. If she is accurate in what her representation is, I will withdraw my objection. I just need to see the document.
Somebody walk the thing over there and let him read it. I mean, get to the bottom of this quickly. We'll hold on your vote.
This is a tweet from the Attorney General that is effectively, I believe, consistent with what Ms. Taylor Greene says. I withdraw my objection.
Once again, that was intense. That was heated. I'm glad that Dan Goldman was put in his place over this. It is absolutely incredible to me, and I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think of Dan Goldman, and why do you think that he is so passionate about defending this criminal? It really makes no sense. And here's a point that I want to bring up, is that if Kilmaro Abrego Garcia, let's just say for the sake of argument, that his slate was, that he had a clean slate. Let's just say that someone waved a magic wand and erased all of his prior violations in the United States of America. Because even if you enter into the United States of America legally, but you stay illegally, you can't come back and you get deported. You can't come back to this country for 10 years minimum. Even if you don't commit any violent acts or any criminal, even if you don't have any criminal or gang affiliations. But this man went so much more above that, okay? And he also committed violence in his own family with his own wife, and that's a whole nother story. But let's just say that that slate was clean for the sake of argument. He would have to lie on his visa application to get back into the United States. So if you have to lie and fix your record with what you did in El Salvador and the gangs that you were affiliated with in El Salvador, you would not be let into the United States anyways. If you have to lie on your visa application to get into the United States, why would we let you back into this country in the first place? Why would you have to come back in? But on top of all of that, now, in my, let's say, okay, my imaginary scenario is not true because his record here in the United States is absolutely horrendous. Here in the United States of America, his wife had to file an order of protection against him. Why should we let this man back on our streets? And as I've said many times before, The Democrats that are vouching for this man, they would not let them into his home, into their home. They would not let him into their home. They would not let him babysit their children. You know, they want to always look at these things and say, oh, well, that image of, his MS-13 tattoos was doctored. No, there was markings to point to to what each symbol signifies. It wasn't doctored or altered. It was just a visual aid as to, well, this means this, this means this, this means this. But what's funny is that they would not let this man around their children. They would not let this man into their children's kindergarten class. They wouldn't let this man do any of that. But they're cool with visiting him in El Salvador, where they're safe. He's in an El Salvador prison, and there's safety around them. Of course, they'll visit him then. But it makes absolutely no sense what they're doing. And so, honestly, I am just sick to my stomach every single day that the Democrats are doing this. And again, this is why President Trump was elected. He was elected to fight against illegal immigration, and somehow the Democrats, they just keep pushing harder. They just keep defending these criminals, and it just makes absolutely no sense to me. So let me know what you think about this exchange in the comment below, and let me know if you are proud of Marjorie Taylor Greene for standing up against this Democrat lunatic. I'll talk to you soon.